Scrappy friends, welcome to the SpiegelMom Scraps YouTube channel. Today we are Scraplifting Jen Schow this week, and I am going to be using that layout that you just seen, and it is one of Jen's newer ones from Ellie Studio, and it has lots of different colors, and it's pretty bright, and it has a little bit of mixed media, so I thought it would be more my style. Jen definitely has a unique style that is really fun, and I really love how she adds lots of journaling. Even though I don't always do that with my layouts, I exceptionally love the ones that have a lot of journaling to them. So right now you see me playing with some of the SpiegelMom Scraps shimmers products that are in the store. I have some Vibez and some Spritz there. So I have some Jeni Bleu. I have some bamboo leaf. I'm trying to think what else I used. I used a lot of different colors. So I did use a little bit of, I want to say this, was it snowy? No, it was sapphire, I think. That one is the one that you can barely see. I don't know if it's just the way that the color, the way that it came out or what, but yeah. So they're really fun sprays that you can, or mists that you can just use like a watercolor brush and make some splatters. So I have a little bit smaller than a 5x7 photo, and this is of mountains, obviously. It's a landscape, so I decided to do a landscape just like Jen, but mostly just because that was a photo that I had been wanting to scrap for a while, and I'm using my bold color on the bottom. So Jen has her bold color around the outside of her photo, and I will end up having something a little bit more bold, but at first that's not what I was going for. So at first I was thinking I'll use that paper, that watercolor paper from Pretty Little Studios. Here Comes the Sun. That's Marie Pierre Capistran. She designed that collection, and it's really summery, and I really like the watercolor. I thought that that would go good with the sprays because I knew I was using the sprays, right? So I thought, hey, and it has some of the similar colors, but a little bit different, and I thought that might be kind of fun. But as I get going, I realized that, I don't know, it just wasn't working for me. I don't know if it was the greens were a little bit too green and not like that tropically green. It's more like a grass green. And even though this has lots of foliage and stuff, these mountains, the green in these is like this dark green because it rains all the time. So I mean, and even in the photo, there's tons of clouds. So yeah, so here I'm working on it, and I kind of want to see how it looks by putting it in, and it's not doing it. It's not working with that collection. So I decide to pull out this stripe blue that is in the collection, and this is the Oasis collection. So the only thing so far that is not the Oasis is that wood grain that I added just a little strip to that, and I just did that because I thought it needed something brown. It needed something wood, and you know, because I mean it's trees and woods basically on top of a rainforest, sort of, right? And so now I'm just gonna try to get this all straight because it just did not seem straight. This took me a while. I actually cut some of this out because I fooled around with it for a while. It did not feel straight. I don't know if it was just because of the way that I put the photo in. I think I should have tried to lift it up just a smidge bit more, but that's okay. So, because I'm trying to follow along with Jen's scrap lift. Now, the other two scrap lifts, I definitely made a lot more me than this one. And I think it's just because this one was so simple and so easy, it just seemed weird to just overdo it. I wanted to keep it simple. But I am adding a touch of glitter with these stickers, and this is really, this is one of my favorite parts of the layout. These little touches of gold that I add. So I'm gonna put the title underneath the photo instead of on top. But I am going to stick something up on the top in a minute, so you'll have to see. So one of the things that I really like about this layout, and one of the things that Jen does on a regular basis, is she really knows how to layer and fit in pieces, like die cuts and ephemera pieces, so that they fit together, sometimes even without touching. So she just can get them squished in and like tuck them in just the right area. And I mean, she's so good at this. And I realized that it's not my forte. I definitely layer like crazy. So this was really, really difficult for me. It was very difficult, but I really liked the challenge. So hopefully I didn't like completely mess up Jen's, layout design. But, so I'm using these really, really fun thickers that are like a teal mint color, and I really like that. It really pops out. So the title is Mountain Majesty, and I just love how that just tucks in right there. I use my ruler guide a lot more than I ever do. I hardly ever use it. Oh my goodness, I guess it was a good way. I almost wanted to whip out my mat that's next to on my desk. I have a pink mat that I used to use. I don't know if you followed me from the very beginning, when I first started scrapbooking, I have this magnetic yellow, it's not yellow, it's pink. And my ruler mat like fits on there and it sticks to it. And so it's really fun, but all right, so now I'm figuring out all the layering pieces, because this is one of the elements. She took some LE Studio die cuts and stuff, and this is the thing that I like about LE Studio, which obviously I didn't really use a lot of LE Studio. I'll bring some in a minute just to see if I can find something. So I see this, and at first I'm not sure I want to commit to putting it on the photo. In a minute I am gonna, and I tuck that, or I put that leafy fern, it's not fern, but like foliage, tropical. And so I decided to stick that up there. I really like the way that the leaves look, and so then I tuck that Friday in, and it's perfect. I totally was like channeling my inner Jen Schow. And I at first wasn't sure about that pink card from the kit, or like from the collection, because it was kind of big, but eventually I just decided to go with it, and I'm gonna use that currently, and that is LE Studio. Like I said, one of the things that I like about LE Studio is usually a lot of the pieces are a lot smaller, and they do kind of like, you can tuck them in a little bit better. So I do try to pull in some LE Studio, and actually I really like the way that looked with that that arrow on there like that. I wish I would have kept it like that, because I didn't do that, and I add some other pieces, and it looks fine. But looking at it now from here, this vantage point, I really like the way that looked. But what are you gonna do? I'm not gonna pull up my layout because I have some pieces that it would probably ruin it. But I did add these Cork clouds that used to be in the store. I don't know if there's any more left. I'll try to link to whatever I can. I know Jody is getting rid of the cork and the felt stuff, so whatever's left in the store is there. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, get your hands on it while you can, because it's going to be gone. But those clouds are so much fun, and they're perfect there. They're perfect. They fit just perfectly. And I think this is the point of the challenge of doing this style, is to really like just kind of to think outside of the box with your pieces. Like, I'm glad I added some of the pieces like the clouds and the leaves, and not just like tags and stuff, because she did a lot of that kind of stuff. But I feel like for me, just having everything really boxy isn't really what I'm about. Now, I did add that arrow down, and I don't know, I don't really care for it. Of course, I glued stuff onto it, so I can't really pull it up now, and I do add a little bit of thread, which is not really a Jen Schow thing, but I couldn't help myself. So this is ways that I added a little bit of me by layering the pieces a little bit more than what Jen would have, but I really tried to stick with her style. And I thought about adding that heart up there, but in the end I don't end up adding it, because once I put my journaling down, it really didn't fit. I was hoping that I could fit it in after I did my journaling and like kind of tuck it somewhere up there. And that's okay, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get journaling and you get realizing, yeah, it's not going to work. Because that was one of the cool parts about this layout, is that it has all this journaling up at the top. I will say that everything is all shifted on that one side, and that other side feels so lonely. So I don't know. There is something about that that kind of bugs me, and it looks fine on Jen layout. It just might, and it's not like it looks bad. But it's just interesting how when you take someone else's style and you do your, like, kind of merge your style with their style, how it doesn't look the same, and spaces that someone else left open looks fine, but your spaces don't look quite the same. And it could just be because of all the extra color that I added. Jen didn't have a lot of, like, the only color she had was outside of the photo, which really made the photo pop. But, you know, I definitely added a lot of stuff, maybe went a little crazy. So now I'm sticking some sequins, and I'm using the seashell what pack. And I also added some of the other shells that were part of like these mini packs that Jody has, and they're amazing because they're just, it's just like a mini pack. So you don't get as many, but you don't need as many, and you can, like, all these different colors. So they're awesome, and I will definitely link to all those. And that's pretty much it. That's the end of my layout for the most part. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out the rest of the ladies on the YouTube channel here. And also, don't forget to go over and head over to the blog and see what the blog team is doing, because they're also Scraplifting Jen Schow as well. And it's just going to be really fun to see what everybody else comes up with this week. And I will see you guys later for some more SpiegelMom Scraps goodness. We're going to have some other challenges next month, in the month of September. So I hope you join us, and I will see you guys later. Have a great scrappy week. Bye.